Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Our goal this evening is to provide an insightful look at the approaches and best practices that organizations and marketers should consider when faced with various forms of crisis, entailing a pandemic such as COVID-19, a recession, or an abrupt cultural trend. My name is Dr. Ashley Elmore, and I'm an associate professor at George and Court University. I am also the head of the master's degree in communications and digital marketing. This program is what sponsored the content of this webinar tonight, and we sincerely appreciate you joining. We plan to grow tonight's presentation into a series of web-focused webinars to address topics that are relevant to you. As such, we ask that you take a simple, quick 2-question survey at the conclusion of this presentation to help provide us with insights of topics that may interest you. So this short 20-minute lesson is on marketing during mayhem, and it's to educate students on marketing automation and also crisis management marketing. This would be a sample of a class that you would take if you were enrolled in our master's degree program in digital communication and marketing. And I would be pleased to meet with any student who is interested in finding out more about this dynamic, exciting, and highly demanded master's degree. Our agenda for today's 20-minute program is just to talk briefly about what is a marketing plan. And I'm sure many people in attendance tonight develop these regularly and are well-versed on marketing plans, to talk about how the elements of a marketing plan get translated into automated marketing. We are then going to look at COVID-19 responses and crisis management marketing. I always like to utilize case studies and real-life examples. Students can have concrete examples when they go into the workplace or ideas that help stimulate their own marketing campaigns. So we will look at the best practices and also companies that did not score so well. We'll talk about those consistent themes, and we always want to bear in mind who is our target market, who is our key customer, who's most likely to purchase our product or to engage with our brand. So just quickly in review, what is a marketing plan? It's your document that you create as a marketing or communication professional that basically says, what do we want to articulate out to the world? What do we want our selling message to be? What are our goals, business objectives, and marketing strategies for about the next year? So in this plan, we would outline maybe social media platforms that we were going to utilize, sample campaigns, and what they encompass. It's a very detailed document, which provides guidance and structure and consistency. However, life is not that easy, and there are internal and external events that disrupt your best laid plans. Marketers need to ensure flexibility and ability to adapt when crisis events occur. So COVID-19 is an example that we will talk about tonight that disrupts your previously planned marketing promotions. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, it was essential that your advertising professionals first reevaluated their marketing plans and looked at what was their pre-established marketing material and is it still appropriate? And then start to investigate, well, did this pandemic create a new opportunity for a different type of advertising or a new service that we could provide to our clients given that they're at home? Possibly we now can reach out to a new customer base. But what the essential part to consider is we need to change and create our campaigns based on crisis. So learning objective 1 is just that, examining current marketing plans and evaluating the need for modification. And learning objective 2 is looking at what I call the heroes and zeros of case studies. And this is looking at companies that did an excellent job reevaluating their marketing and embarking upon modifications, and also companies that did not. So one term that you may or may not be familiar with, but it is essential to know if you're working in the field of marketing, especially digital marketing, is the term marketing automation. And what automation is using different software and platforms, a marketer can take this marketing plan and using software, basically upload all of their pre-planned content. So I'll give an example. Hootsuite is a platform that does that. So I might go on and type into Hootsuite that in September, we're going to launch a campaign on X, Y, and Z. And I preload all of the content. I say exactly what the Facebook post is going to be, the date, the time, and then the platform automatically launches it. So the marketer preloads it, and then they get fired off on the specified date, which is amazing for efficiency. It allows for that marketing plan to be executed and it to flow seamlessly. However, we talked about internal and external events that disrupted it. So a marketer must be aware of what automation did you type in maybe a year ago, and what's automatically going to be blasted out to your target market, and does it need to be edited based upon the crisis situation that you're facing. So you must review all of the content and communication channels. I read a lot of journal articles and scholarly articles about this, and some of the things that the researchers were saying is failure to do this can make your company come off as looking tone deaf, insensitive, irrelevant during a crisis. I also read a great article about branding. And if we were actually in class and we had more time to talk about, we would look at some of this research and studies. But it talked about how branding can take years to develop a positive brand for your company. And failure to adapt your automation can destroy your branding virtually overnight. So it really is critical to make modifications based on current event situations. So let's go ahead and look at some examples. And all of the participants, if you're kind of thinking right now, did you see an example from a company? I would love to hear about that in the Q&A session. This was one example, Spirit Airlines. So they sent out an email blast that says it's never been a better time to fly during COVID-19. Obviously, they got a great deal of backlash. They then went to Twitter and said, we apologize for that email. It was written prior to the pandemic. So they were very honest about it. But what it did is it created a lot of negative engagement for the brand. And that's a term that we look at a lot in digital marketing. Is the type of engagement you're getting. We talk about social listening and companies observing what's being said about them online, managing their digital reputation. And the problem is when you do something like that and you make an error, now all of a sudden online, you're getting a lot of negative engagement and backlash. So you can see examples. Max says, Spirit, there's probably been a better time to fly. Other people are saying, wow, that was a bold claim. And then you start to get people who start knocking the brand, which again is harmful to branding. Jordan says, I'd be more concerned about my safety on Spirit, not just Corona. Spirit is also known for upcharging for a seat for luggage. So this person says, let's be real, Spirit would even make you pay to catch the virus. So you're starting to get a lot of discussions on the digital platforms that as a marketer and a business person, you don't want being said about your brand. One person wrote, wow, I sure do appreciate the marketing team's hustle. They didn't realize it was just an error. This is another really poorly timed event. There was coverage on various different news channels and TV shows about a cruise ship that had sick coronavirus travelers that were stranded on board, and it was trending. During the commercial break, Norwegian Cruise Lines had a commercial promoting going on their cruise. It was bad timing for the brand. It was embarrassing for the brand. And when I started researching this, I found that this was not an individual incident, that over $6 million of ads actually aired on TV channels that were like this. And the marketing teams, what they should have done is revisited all of their pre-planned automated marketing and made these changes and pulled the commercials or changed the campaign or stopped that email blast. I'm going to show you just a short clip of this. Here's another example. Now, if I say KFC and I ask you, what is their slogan? you should know that it's finger looking good. They've done a great job of branding that. So that's excellent. So they were trying to do a campaign to promote that slogan, right? Finger looking good. However, it was very poorly timed. In this commercial, even if we just watch 10 seconds of it, what you're going to see is everybody's tasting the chicken and then licking their fingers. But during COVID, putting your fingers in your mouth is very off-putting. The commercial even goes on that then people start licking their friends' fingers because they want to get, that taste to savor it. It was just poor timing. People actually reported this. This was in the UK to the UK's Advertising and Ethics Council. They got about 100 violations. I mean, it was just, people were really upset. So here's a quick clip at just, kind of what they did so you can get an idea of what the commercial looked like and how consumers might have been upset by this. So you get the idea. The commercial actually went on for a whole minute, showing the licking of the fingers, and it was just poorly timed. This aired right around the end of March when people were really frightened. So just kind of giving examples of how this can happen. Hershey also had a campaign where everybody was hugging, and they had to go and make a statement apologizing that they were being insensitive to COVID, and they replaced all of their ads with product centric spots. Now, another thing that we always look at in class is I am a big data person. I always want to see analytics. I want to see numbers. I want to see research. And we're going to teach a lot of the analytics within our master's degree program. Now, because COVID was so recently, it's hard to find a lot of survey data on this because it's a new obviously crisis we've been facing. But one research study I did find, small sample size, just 203. Nonetheless, I thought it was worth sharing, just showed the types of marketing modifications and the percentage of companies. So you can see, though, while I'm giving examples of companies and cases that failed to embark upon reevaluation, a lot of companies did. Almost 50% totally held back a campaign they were going to launch until later in the year. 48% adjusted maybe the media type or usage. And that's something to think about. Maybe possibly before you were going to pay to do radio spots, but maybe you want to revisit that because people are no longer in their cars commuting to the office. So maybe we want to take that budget and reallocate it to social media. And social media usage was up something around 400% during the pandemic. So just looking at some of this research does show that a lot of companies did get this right. In fact, 34% of companies actually pulled a campaign altogether. So back to our quick learning objectives of our 20-minute lesson tonight. Hopefully I gave you a good insight just about the importance of reevaluating, changing, looking at automation. And now I also want to look at different themes of this crisis management marketing. So I combed through thousands of different advertisements on various platforms encompassing Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, email blasts, things of that nature. And I wanted to look at commonalities. What are the themes that I found advertisers to be utilizing? And what did that look like? So the themes that I identified is I saw a lot of gratitude campaigns, charitable or cause marketing, humor, and entertainment and education. So we're going to look at each of these themes quickly. I do want to show you a clip of this video first, though, which shows initially advertisers were not utilizing these themes. Initially, they were very timid and unsure of what to do. and most of the ads were all the same. So this is actually a compilation that somebody created and posted on YouTube, and it shows some of the different reoccurrences of the same exact themes, like we're about people, and you hear people, people, people being used in 15 different ads. So it's just kind of a funny look at the initial COVID marketing prior to, then we will, subsequent to this, we will look at some of the new ads. So we'll just watch 30 seconds of this. I'll start it somewhere around the middle and the idea of what they're doing.
Since 1978, for 60 years.
For 75 years.
For over 80 years.
In 90 years.
Over 100 years.
Nationwide has been on your side.
Restaurants have always been there for you.
Nissan has been with you through thick and thin.
We will do what we've always done.
Take care of people.
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 People. People.
People.
People. Family.
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 Family. Family. Family.
Family.
Family.
Family.
Families are families. Families.
Even now. Especially now. Especially now.
Right now.
Now more than ever.
More than ever. Today. More than ever. Today. More than ever. In times like this. At times like.
So you get the idea. And even though I can't see most of the people on our call, I certainly hope I made you smile or laugh while you were watching that, because it was supposed to be comical. But what I found in my research is that after all of this, we did start to get a little bit more bold and start to come up with a bit of different campaigns. So let's just look at a couple examples of these 4 campaigns and the cases associated with it. I was really delighted to see a lot of gratitude marketing, which showed our appreciation to all the frontline workers. This is an example of what Mattel did. Instead of just Mattel saying thank you, they actually created toys and dolls and different items that were specifically attributing to our heroes. You can see in their Little People version of the dolls, it was, of course, not just doctors and nurses, but even people, that served any sort of role. So looking at educators who helped teach during this, looking at your postal service, looking at everyone in the grocery store. So they came up with these toys showing their gratitude, which was really special. Hershey's also did this. Prior to COVID, Hershey's was already coming up with their new superhero chocolates. So the marketers thought, wow, wouldn't it be a great idea to take this product we're already going to launch anyways and launch it a little bit differently? So instead, they came up with the Real Superheroes campaign, and they provided everybody in the front line with Hershey bars and big packages, and it just was a nice thank you. And now keep in mind, anytime we do these marketing campaigns, most companies do discuss it on their social media, whether they blog about it, whether they post pictures on Facebook. This is a type of publicity, right? They want to get additional awareness and information out about it. I don't think it's self-serving that they do it to brag. I think that they do it because they really want to share the word and they want to be inspirational. But Hershey's has a whole section of their website dedicated to this and a blog that I read. We were also seeing a lot of charitable or fundraiser types of campaigns. Now, what I do want to note is a lot of times these campaigns were done in conjunction with the gratitude, that there was a special fundraiser to raise money for a cause. And charitable cause marketing is something that isn't new, that we've been doing for a long time. Companies do it because they want to serve. They want to do good for the community and they want to give back. But it is also, as I just stated, a public relations function. And when you do look at some of the scholarly research on cause marketing, is that there's absolutely a utility benefit, that consumers feel good when they buy products from companies that they know have donated and given back. And they also see a spillover. So even if a company has many products in their portfolio, if one of those products in the portfolio has done something charitable, there tends to be spillover into their other products. So that's a positive thing for brands. So just a couple examples to show you of different charitable marketing. This was a campaign that they were looking to raise money for the Restaurant Employee Relief Fund. And of course, restaurants were taking a big hit at this time. So it was a really great, fun campaign. They did a nacho average showdown where they had a nacho cooking contest, and it was a lot of fun. And they also did this around Cinco de Mayo, which kind of paired nicely. Lay's did a campaign with Joy Givers, which basically was just asking anyone who does anything good for anybody to hashtag Joy Givers, and they would donate money to Feeding America. Again, an organization that needed some support during this. Another one to raise money, this was to raise money for the Hispanic COVID-19 Relief Fund. They did a salsa dancing lesson sponsored by Tostitos. As far as humor goes, this humor was something that initially marketers did not want to do. It wasn't until later into the pandemic that they felt comfortable. I know I only have about one more minute, but I will go ahead and show a clip of this. When I saw Core's clone machine, I did think it was humorous. As an educator, I can't promise that I loved it. It talks about how to basically make a clone of yourself on Zoom so it looks like you're participating, which I know my students would never do this. Look at their campaign.
I'd like to know, I'd like to know, why do people judge others? Why do people judge others? Mama, let me know, mama, let me know, why do people judge others? Love your neighbors, your brother. Who knows the pain and who knows the load? Them carry somewhere deep down in their souls. Let me know, mama, let me know. I'd like to know, I'd like to know, what am I to make of my life? What am I to?
Now, I know my students would never do something like this, but everyone could relate. And that's what was really great about it. And just our last theme, the entertainment or education, Chick-fil-A did this whole virtual band. And anyone that has children knows that, kids were missing school and they were missing their classmates and they were missing their specials. And music was a special. I know that my children miss going to, and Chick-fil-A did this whole virtual band where it showed a video clips of all the kids singing Rockin' Robin. And it's really cute. So if you have extra time, feel free to go back and YouTube that. And if you are a music lover or a child lover, it will definitely make you smile. An example, Harvard, they offered free courses. So the entertainment education was really used to capitalize on people's newfound free time, possibly their boredom, or just their desire to grow and learn. And they had a lot of different subject areas. This may be to someone's boredom. Wendy's did a virtual scavenger hunt. Patron did a tequila making, margarita making class where they had 20 bartenders. What was interesting about Patron's campaign, it was actually based on research. They found out that tequila sales spiked 54% during this pandemic, and it was they wanted to capitalize on that and really engage with the customer. So, and this went well with Cinco de Mayo, of course. McDonald's did burger puzzles. And this also was based on research. Jigsaw puzzles saw a 300% increase during the pandemic. So it's not just even looking at what new marketing campaigns you can come up with, but what's timely, what are consumers wanting, and what's going on. So that was just a quick insight of a lesson that would be talked about. There's a lot of other different things that are going on in our world right now that marketers need to be investigating that we could certainly discuss more in more detail with social justice. I just read an amazing article about Peloton, and they're going to be working to generate $100 million to generate towards Black Lives Matters. And, the company's really showing their values, and it's a wonderful thing. So all of these companies are examples of ones that have done some, significant outreach and different movements and campaigns that we don't have time to get into tonight, but we certainly could at another point in time. So what I would ask, if you do have any questions, feel free to write them in our question and answer session. If you have questions specific about the master's degree, I would love to meet with you for a one-on-one consultation. We are gearing up our online program for the fall, and we are ready to go. We are so excited about it. The program is fully online and can be done within a 1 year or a 2 year format. So you can get your Master's of Science degree in Communications and Digital Marketing. And it's on our website, and this also lists some of the classes. So again, I want to thank you for attending, and I also please want to encourage you to take that 2-question survey, as that will help us create more content and more webinars to meet your specific needs and interests.
Dr. Elmore, hi, I'm